You know, the most common complaint across gear demo videos are that they're not formatted enough like Shakespearean plays. So today we're doing the Neumann MT48 in 3 parts. This is the hottest new interface on the market. I was lucky enough to get a demo of this by the actual creator of this. So it's really more than just a recording interface. That's why I'm breaking into 3 parts. We've got a recording part, a performance part, and a mixing part. And we're going to talk about why Neumann, one of the most trusted names of quality in the audio business, is throwing their hat into the interface ring. Let's get it. So one of the main things that makes this super special is that Neumann has partnered with Merging, which are known for incredibly great preamps and converters. So this is going to be the great first test of me checking these out. These are the nicest converters I've ever tracked through. So let's see how it sounds. All right, so I am supremely satisfied with this setup here. I'm just going to record some acoustic guitar at first. I've got stereo Neumann KM184s right here. And the great thing about being able to put this on a mic stand is I can use short throw XLRs, so I don't have a super messy setup, right? And that can go right into the computer. And then tracking, I like to use the Sennheiser HD300 Pros for tracking stuff just because there's minimal bleed. But yeah, this is it. So you've got the mixer system right here that you can see, right? Anywhere you are, you can press this little diamond button to get home, and this is the main mixer, okay? So everything is just contained in here. You can see I'm only getting levels on 1 track, right? Well, what's going on? I got 2 pencil condenser microphones here, so let's go to the second track here, mic 2, and then we're gonna go to the preamp section, okay? So once we're in here, we can see all the settings, all right? You can see that mic 1 is getting level right there. Mic 2 is set to line, so I just touch line, go to mic right there, then add phantom power with the flip of a switch, and there we go. So now I'm getting levels from both of them here, and then I can actually go to my gain and then use the jog wheel to kind of dial in something where, you see, I got 1 and 2 right here. 1's maybe a little more, a little too much gain there. Oh, look at that. Now it's picking up my voice in perfect stereo, which is not what I want, but we're gonna do some acoustic guitar here. And again, being able to just grab this at a hand's reach is amazing. I can also add EQ and compression on the actual track, and then I have the option of sending those effects that are built in to the interface into what I'm actually recording, or I can just have them as a performance thing. Same with reverb, all right? And the reverb is just gonna be like a comfort reverb, so it's not gonna send the reverb to the recorded track, but especially with a lot of singers, myself included, it always sounds better tracking reverb, but once you have a track with reverb on it, it's really hard to work with in the mix, which we're going to get to later. So the reverb is nice because it's dummy proof and you can't accidentally track your reverb into the performance. But with the EQ compression and gate and stuff, it actually works really well. I'm going to track some vocals with the Neumann M147 tube mic. And I'm going to have some of the dynamic compression and stuff going on into the recording.
A train wreck a mess, and I've fallen for that. I feel they find me, my friend, so that I seek it out. A checkup I need, but I can't seem to bleed. All of this paid for, we know you're not made for the struggle.
I really do want to spend a second talking about the compressor that you can put on these tracks. Right now, I've got my Neumann tube mic, gonna do some vocals. And for vocals, especially if you're not a incredible singer, this is super helpful right here. So you can kind of see, and this is just me speaking, you can see where like my regular volume level is, but if I get louder, it goes higher, right? So what you can do is you can turn on the compressor. You can actually have like a gate or a compressor or a limiter right here. but specifically the compressor is great, right? And then you can turn it on and off right here with the on and off thing. So if you want to, maybe have a less dynamic singing performance, keep it even, you can really just take that ratio at highlights, and now you can either kind of like do it with the touch screen. I prefer using the jog wheel once you have it selected, just to kind of, change the ratio and the attack. Again, high ratio, if you don't know what a compressor is, basically every time it goes over, your level goes over this threshold right here, it'll turn it down 3 decibels per one going over, right? You can set the attack and release times just like that. And honestly, this is like just a really cool feature that is built in. So you can even sidechain it right here. So again, tons of features you can have, and you can always get back to the main mixer just by pressing the diamond. And then you can see that there's my level right here to track some new stuff. All right, so hooking into the main rig, I got bass set up. The great thing is the comfort reverb is still on the bass channel, which I'm so happy about. I just got it plugged into the DI on the front and then just going through the regular compressor. Great tone. All right, next up, I'm gonna add some electric guitars, gonna come in and out. I'm gonna track the whole thing through the Angelico Deluxe XS, Supro, Blackmagic, and I'm gonna get it with Sennheiser 906, and then just going directly into the mic preamps on the MT48. All right, so a question you might have is it's called the MT48, where are all the tracks at? It seems like you only have the 4 inputs. I'm going to next use the ADAT input on the back to put a bunch more microphones in and kind of do a supplementary drum kit type vibe that I already have with the MIDI stuff. We'll see how that sounds. Part 2, performance. Now, this is something that interface really has. This is what I think really separates this from anything else that I've seen. Another reason I love just having it on the mic stand for this is because you can perform with it. Now, in my previous career as a performing acoustic solo duo type person, this would have been absolutely amazing because you don't even need a computer to use this. That's what is amazing about this. You can actually use all the DSP in here and have it affect a guitar signal, a microphone signal, and you can still have it go to a computer, but you can have a separate out or a separate mix that goes right to a PA, which is what I have set up for right now. Okay? So you have the great thing about these buttons is you can switch between headphone mixes, output mixes, and have different mixes for each one, like I said. The cool thing is you can also save your settings as snapshots. So if you have just for me, acoustic guitar, vocal, that's perfect because you can get everything fine-tuned, have all the EQ, compression, gating, reverb, and then just save it. Has nothing to do with your recording, and then you can just fire it up, hit the snapshot that you want to use for your live gig, and then just get right into it, and then it just goes out to the PA, all right? And you can still self-monitor with headphones, or you can bring a computer in at the same time, or just maybe a handheld recorder. That'd be really cool too. And then just record your performance while actually using this as a mixer that you have control over. Look, it's just right here, and I can kind of bring the volume up or bring it down. And again, the thing is, this is I think a very like underrated reason why you might want something like this, just because of the live performance capabilities. And you know, trust me, I've gigged enough to know that having to set up the mixer, making sure nothing got like messed with, just having the snapshots and stuff is great. So we're just gonna record me just doing an acoustic thing. I'm gonna be recording it with the computer just because I have it set up too. But this is gonna be the line out for the PA. So yeah, just a good representation of what you're gonna get using it as a performance tool. She couldn't play it straight. Never held a job she didn't hate, but there's an empty seat next to me. I kinda wish she'd take, but it's too bad on my house. And she'll be fired soon. And 90 days to crash and burn. Yeah, there's a lesson here I'm hesitant to learn, but I'm too stuck on myself. It's no day to heat wave the time and place. Just one way. Alright, I wanted to take a quicker look at this real quick. So this is the mixer here, right? You can see that I have the EQ and the compressor and the reverb set on kind of just how I want it for the vocals and the guitar. So let's say I want to save this for a live performance. All I have to do is go to menu right there, okay? And then it'll bring up snapshots. So go to snapshot. So I'm going to go to 3 here. I'm going to name this one. I'm going to name this live. All right, so these are just going to be my live settings that I want. Press OK, update info, and then now you can see this is live. And then let's say I want to go to another one. I can just switch back and forth between these different snapshots. All right. Another great thing about this is, let's go to the dime. Let's go back to the main thing here. You can see this is going to be, now the speaker output, this is what's going to the PA, okay? So there's my PA mix, and then I can use this to turn it on and off. Really great being able to kill the PA switch while still going into the headphones and the outs, which is going to the computer. So like I said when I was talking about the reverb earlier, you can see the mix here. I have a really healthy amount of reverb right here on the guitar and the vocal, okay? Now, that is going to go to the PA, but it is not going to go to the DAW mix in Logic that I have down here. So the great thing is, this is going to be a clean, separated track from what's coming from my PA. So there's a lot of capabilities, and it's really great for playing live and then also being able to record live stuff, because I can take the line out of my PA and record that, and that's going to be just like the sound of whatever it was live. But then I also have the dry tracks that I can either mix in or just kind of like make sound a little bit better, because those will be isolated tracks. All right, this brings us to part 3, mixing. So I actually think the number one reason that you would spend up to get this is because of the converters. I had no idea how much better these ADAT converters were until I heard them. If you don't know what that means, is every time you have an analog signal that is audio, you have to convert it into digital signal that a computer can process. You can kind of mix it in the box or however you want to do it, and then it has to convert it back to analog. So it goes AD, analog to digital, then DA, digital to analog. So this happens each time you do it. With the less expensive interfaces, you know, they do the same thing. But it wasn't until I first heard this that I really became a believer in high-end converters. So like I said at the beginning of this video, these are the highest end converters I've ever used. I have always been on like some kind of Apollo type deal, and something that I suspected as soon as I did that first acoustic guitar recording was that these are definitely a noticeable jump up. And I don't know if this is a thing of my ears just getting better from doing recordings over the years, or if it's something that is like night and day difference. But the converters are better, and they're much better, and they're noticeably different, and that is the number one reason to get this interface. And all my audiophile friends who are professional audio people, they're most excited about this for that reason, because you could have high-end converters that you could carry with you and do mix sessions and everything. For mixing, I always like open back headphones. They sent me the Neumann MT48s, which, again, while I was just kind of doing it, just this plugged into the interface, I noticed a difference, but it wasn't until I got it set up into my main rig, which the tuned monitors are plugged into now. I've got the KHT system that I did in a previous video where basically you can calibrate the monitors to your room, which is another really important thing. I'm learning all this stuff as I go, right? I never had any like formal training or internship or anything. I just have like a bunch of friends who are super high level elite people that kind of give me pointers and then just kind of mess around with the gear. But basically what happens is you get an M1 microphone. I'll link all this stuff in the description too. And this pairs with actually both studios that I kind of work in. So my main one here, I have a three-way system. I have the two monitors that are great, and then I have a sub, and they go through the sub, and the M1 system calibrates through the subwoofer, actually. And then back in Los Angeles, I have the smaller KHTs. And again, I use the same microphone calibration software to tune them. So what it does, basically just kind of fires off some signals in your room, and then it can read them, and then it will adjust your monitors, your monitoring system, to the discrepancies that it sees in like maybe a less than perfect room. So again, this room is pretty dialed in with these monitors. So as soon as I brought this mix up, I was like, this is the highest fidelity stuff I've ever recorded. And I have a feeling that it's the converters that is really responsible for this. So definitely something that if you ever get a chance to try this, even if you're just listening to something like music off a laptop with some headphones through these converters, you're still gonna get the same effect, right? Because usually like laptops have like built-in converters essentially when they're playing like just files off of YouTube or whatever. But yeah, even just as like a listening solution, this thing is amazing, and I'm a huge believer, and I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is because I'm gonna travel with this back and forth. Usually I hate traveling with gear, but this is one thing that I'm always gonna have locked into any kind of professional situation that I'm doing, just because I do believe the converters are of a high caliber, noticeable difference, which hopefully you kind of heard through the process of this video. But yeah, you know, mixing can be kind of like a difficult thing to totally wrap your head around, and that's why having a monitoring situation that's going to tell you the truth as compared to kind of giving you, you know, filtered results, whether it's, you know, headphones that might not be up to par or just like a weird room that you're mixing in. The Neumann Sennheiser stuff I'm a huge fan of, and I will be using going forward. So thank you to them for sending me the interface to check everything out. Let me know if you want me to go into more depth on any of the features on this, because it is a super feature-rich piece of gear that has a lot of utility, as hopefully I have demonstrated over this entire video. So if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, or the website, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot.